food expert and entrepreneur Jonno Proudfoot started an online program that teaches people to cook and enjoy healthy food called realmealrevolution.com. Well, due to this site's popularity, he was propelled to release a go-to resourceful cookbook containing 300 recipes that anyone who wants to cook delicious meals with low carbs can utilize. Now, the book is titled The Real Meal Revolution, Low-Carb Cooking. Now, Chef Jonno is in studio with us this morning to tell us more about this book and his love for healthy eating. Very good morning to you, Jonno. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Morning, Superior. Thanks very much for having me.
I can't think of a plate without carbs. Having meat and veggies only?
Yeah, it is sort of programmed in our mind that you need meat and starch and 2 veg. And yeah, our argument is that for a lot of people, a high carbohydrate diet can lead to obesity and some chronic diseases in old age.
Yeah.
So we've been programmed to think that we have to have carbohydrates, but our body actually has 2 ways of fueling itself. You can actually be fueled by your own fat and dietary fat, or you can be fueled by a carbohydrate. And what we try and put across at Real Meal Revolution is that if you are suffering from obesity and chronic disease, removing carbohydrates can actually drastically improve your lifestyle.
But carbohydrates are a source of energy which you need to get us through the day. So what do you think should be replacing that?
Well, so basically, if you remove carbohydrates from your body, you have to imagine if you were running along the plains sort of 12,000 years ago and you ran out of fruit and vegetables, your body would automatically clip into another fuel burning mode, which we call ketosis. But it's basically fat burning mode. So we're actually designed to operate on 2 different fuel sources. And what happens when you remove carbohydrates is your body breaks down fat into a fuel source called ketones, and your body can operate perfectly, some believe optimally, while it's fueled by ketones.
Right. And you say that the Real Meal Revolution has totally transformed the way South Africans eat and shop and dine out. What do you mean by this?
Yeah, so I'll need to qualify that. It's definitely a small section of the South African population. And I think when our first book came out in 2013, a lot of people started trying the diet, and there was this sort of revolution around the sort of, I would say, the more affluent diners, the kind of people who go to restaurants.
Okay.
And people started eating this way and just coming off all diabetes medication. We had people effortlessly losing like 30 to 50 kilograms. I know of one guy, Billy Tosh, he lost 88 kilograms. In 1 week, he lost 11 kilos just following this diet.
Wow.
And the beauty of it is that when you're in that fat-burning state, your appetite actually disappears. So you don't have cravings, you don't need to exercise self-restraint. You just naturally sit in a space where you're not starving, which is why some people believe it's an optimal state.
Give us some of the most important foods that should be in people's shopping lists, that people, that is easy to prepare.
So what we look at is nutrient density. People say, oh no, but you're missing out on fiber if you eat sort of, if you're not eating bread. But vegetables, green vegetables, broccoli, obviously cauliflower is not a green vegetable, but cauliflower, broccoli, asparagus, green beans, tomatoes, peppers, all of these are whole foods. They're nutrient dense, they've got lots of fiber, and we would say they're a lot healthier than something like a potato.
Right.
And then obviously good quality protein like meat, fish, poultry. Yeah, so just meat and vegetables.
Yeah.
Whole foods, whole real foods. And then this is the controversial element. We say real fats, so fats that occur in their natural form that don't require processing to extract them. So something like sunflower oil, which requires a lot of heat, some chemical extraction, some bleaching, we would say that's actually not a good fat. Whereas something like butter, which occurs naturally, or coconut oil, or actual rendered animal fats like lard are actually healthier and more natural than
so fat can be
oils.
good after all?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right, unpack for us some of the banting, or rather the healthy eating options that are available for restaurants.
So, in fact, that's where a lot of my inspiration came from originally, because I used to work in restaurants, and we used to have to make a starch with every meal, and eventually we ran out of ideas. We'd cooked enough rice and potatoes, so we came up with the idea of a mock starch or fake carb. And the best is obviously cauliflower, because you can make cauliflower puree, which looks like mashed potato. You can make cauliflower rice, which is just grated cauliflower, and you can add just as much flavor to cauliflower to cauli rice as you can to like a pilaf or some of those spicy rice dishes. And then there are ways that you can make breads using alternative flours that are gluten-free and lower in carbohydrates. But you know, that's when you start getting into substitution. And our argument is that you don't necessarily need to substitute this type of bread for that type. Okay. We actually say, well, you know, if you want to be really healthy, just remove bread from your diet completely.
Yeah, and having worked in some of the top restaurants yourselves, what has that taught you about your own style of cooking?
Yeah, so we learned, I worked in a fusion restaurant, so I think the greatest lesson I got was that you can merge cuisines, and you can actually travel, you can take someone on a journey around the whole world by just teaching them different foods from different countries. So we had to learn, you know, every single cuisine that was out there, from Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, Pacific Rim, sort of like Japanese, sort of Australian, American, and yeah, so I think that the strength I have there is that I'm able to take low-carb foods, which some people can find very boring if they don't have a lot of food knowledge, but I'm able to bring out like the best in every ingredient by showing many different techniques and many different flavor combinations that go with just one ingredient.
Right, right. And you co-authored your first cookbook as an annuity income for Operation Smile, for which you raised 1.5 million.
Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Tell us more about that.
So we actually wrote the book as an annuity because we were going to do the swim. Well, we did the swim from Mozambique to Madagascar, which was a 460-kilometer sort of 24-day mission. And yeah, as part of the swim, we had to raise money. So we decided we were going to write a cookbook based on the food we were going to eat while we were training. And that's what happened. So our first book, Real Meal Revolution, came out, and we were supposed to go and speak after the swim to go and rally funds and get people to donate. But because of the success of the book, we actually never had to do a talk to raise money. Obviously, it's nice to talk, and we'd still love to talk, but we weren't obliged to, which was really cool. Yeah.
So where do I get hold of this book?
Get any online store, any good bookshop, yeah, nationwide, and it's currently available. I know that running low on stock already, so people need to jump fast if they want to get a copy before Christmas.
Okay, Jonno, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, it's a
we
pleasure.
Appreciate it. Well, speaking to us about his latest cookbook, The Real Meal Revolution, Low-Carb Cooking, is Jonno Proudfoot, and he's a food expert, entrepreneur, as well as founder and CEO of Real Meal Revolution. Let's take a short break now. We'll be right back.